topic I will be discussing is how gases are important for human survival and recreation through their use in scuba and deep-sea diving. You can find more information about this in your chemistry science textbook in Chapter 11, and you can find a little bit more information about scuba diving in Section 11.5. We humans need different gases in order to survive and to use in other areas like scuba and deep-sea diving. One very important gas we all need to survive is oxygen. Without oxygen, there would be no life on Earth. You get oxygen by the plants around you, which take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. Another gas humans need is nitrogen. We need nitrogen to make proteins in our skin, hair, muscles, nails, and even DNA. You get nitrogen from the foods in your diet that contain protein. Gases in scuba tanks. The gas that divers mainly breathe from their tanks is a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen, also known as trimix. This also contains hydrogen. This mixture of gases reduces the risk of oxygen poisoning because it reduces your intake of oxygen. The mix must equal the pressure of the surrounding water so the diver's lungs stay inflated. As you go deeper in the water, the gas increases so the diver's bloodstream and the body tissues absorb higher volumes of gases in order to survive. This is what trimix is safer to use than nitrox. Although they are both very similar, since they both contain nitrogen and oxygen, nitrox is mainly used for dives that aren't very deep. One type of gear known as the rebreather is mainly used in the military because it does not produce air bubbles, meaning it doesn't release carbon dioxide into the water. Instead, the rebreather takes the carbon dioxide that you normally exhale and makes it into sodium hydroxide to produce oxygen and calcium carbonate. The chemical formula is listed below. More about scuba diving. Scuba and deep-sea diving can be very dangerous for humans because of the pressure that is placed upon the human. For roughly every 10 meters of depth, the water pressure on the diver's body adds to the equivalent of 1 unit of atmospheric pressure. If you were to rush to the surface too quickly without taking a break or slowing down so that the air can decompress, you can have a very painful and potentially fatal condition called the bends. These are just some of the symptoms of the bends. Now I will show a little demonstration on pressure. I have a regular container filled with water and an empty cup. Now when I place the cup on top of the water, there is an air bubble. The bubble is what keeps the water out of the cup. Now watch as I place the cup into the water. You can see that there is only a little bit to no water in the cup. As the cup goes down, there is so much water pressure that forces the air up. So this is the same amount of air, just in a smaller space. This is how air pressure works. This is another little experiment showing atmospheric pressure. Watch what happens to the water. There is water inside the plate. I have a candle and a lighter. So I'm going to light the candle. I'll let it go. Now I'm going to place a jar on top of the candle. So watch what happens to the water. Now, what happened? The water got sucked into the jar. This works because when the candle burns, it heats up the air inside the jar. The hot air expands, so some of the air escapes through the bottom of the jar. Then when the candle finishes using up all the oxygen in the jar, it burns out and the air quickly cools, causing the air inside to contract, making low pressure. The outside of the jar has higher atmospheric pressure, so this pushes the water into the jar. And that's how the water got in the jar. Ta-da! Since scuba diving was invented, it has given mankind a chance to discover new things about our aquatic ecosystem. For one, it has given people the chance to explore shipwrecks, discovering hidden treasures within the wreck and learning more about the lost history behind it and what may have happened to the particular ship. Also, because of scuba diving, we are able to discover many different species of fish and how they live. We can study them in their habitat and record their behavior and try to understand them better overall. We have also discovered many artifacts in the waters and even small cities and villages. Concerns associated with the chemicals in scuba diving. There are many things that can go wrong that have to do with the gases used to scuba dive. For one, you can have oxygen poisoning, which is when you absorb too much oxygen and this affects your nervous system. Another is carbon dioxide poisoning, and this usually is caused by inadequate exhalation. Also, if a tank is contaminated with carbon monoxide, it can have serious effects on you and even kill you. So the tanks must be looked after very carefully and checked to make sure that they are safe to use each and every time. Canada and scuba diving. Canada uses scuba diving for recreational purposes. It is great to have a look at the living things in lakes and oceans in and around Canada. There are many different places throughout Canada that offer lessons on how to scuba dive, so you can enjoy this great experience. Some people even make it as a living, either by being a scientist, so studying in the water and studying the habitats, the ecosystems, and the fish, or maybe just teaching others how to scuba dive. Risk to society and the environment. Some risks to humans are we need oxygen to live, so without it, we would die. Also, all animals, including the ones we depend on for food and clothing, also need oxygen. So without it, they will suffocate and die, and so will we. Some risk to the environment. Damage can be done to the reefs by the people being careless and making them unappealing. And because of this damage, many marine life will have to move because it may have been their home. So since the marine life would be moving on and abandoning their old reef, then people will stop going to that particular diving spot. And mistreating the environment can also lead to divers being banned in that area. Most people are also inexperienced divers, so they may not know much about the environment. So for example, if they touch a coral reef even by mistake, they can remove the protective mucus, making it more prone to fatal infections, and it can easily die. Benefits to society and the environment. First, for humans, it has many health benefits. By swimming, you are getting a great workout and slowly improving your fitness. It is also good to de-stress and relax. You learn new breathing techniques to help you calm yourself down. Also, you learn more about the environment and what you can do to help save it. You gain more knowledge about the ecosystems and the different organisms that live in those ecosystems. And regular dives can improve your concentration, coordination, and balance. Oxygen is also very important to help sustain life on Earth. Without it, we would all die. Thanks for watching my video on gases and scuba diving. I hope you enjoyed it.